Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, who originally wrote the song, of course. If you're looking for the Guns N' Roses one, I've got a lesson on that, covers all of the different parts, including the solos, but it's a very different version. For a start, it's 3 times longer. It's also in a different tuning. So to play the Guns N' Roses one, you've got to tune to E flat. So each of the strings down 1 semitone. And actually, quite importantly, it's got different chords. The Dylan version uses the same chords throughout the whole song, and the Guns N' Roses version simplifies the chords for the chorus. So the chords in the chorus are kind of missing the A minor, basically. But anyway, we're going to be looking at the Dylan one today, and I'll show you the Dylan chords. I am going to show you some cheats as well for beginners that might make this song a little easier to play. It's slightly less authentic, but might make it just a little bit easier. But we're going to start off with the Dylan way. So the first chord we want is this G chord. Now I would recommend using this particular fingering. This is 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, muting the 5th string, 3 open strings, and little finger down 3rd fret on the thinnest string there. Now there's quite a few times that you're going to change from a C chord to a G. And if you see this fingering for the G chord, I hardly have to move anything at all, just my fingers. And even then, my little finger's almost ready. If I do this version of the G, my hand has to move and my elbow too. There's a lot more movement. So most times, especially in this kind of folky style, I definitely recommend using this G chord if you're changing to and from a C chord at some point. I will show you another way of approaching this in just a sec, but let's deal with the Dylan chords first of all. So there's the G, and it's 2 beats on that. Then it changes to D, which I'm hoping you're familiar with D already. If you're not familiar with D chord already, how to play it, then check out the beginner's course on my website. I'm not going to go through how to play these basic chords. And then we've got an A minor for 1 whole bar. 2, 3, 4. And the second time through it goes G, D for 2, and then C for 1 bar. 2, 3, 4. So this is the chord progression. 2 on G, 2 on D, 4 on A minor. Talking about how many beats, not strums. We're going to add some extra strums in a second. Then G, D, C. This really is a great party song because you should be able to remember that chord progression even if you've had a few beers, and people love singing along with this one. Okay, so definitely one that I'd recommend you put in your party bag. Okay, so if you're learning guitar, learn this song, pull it out at parties. People love having a play and a sing along. More advanced guitar players or beginners can play along with you depending on their skill set. So make sure you get this one down. So that's the chord progression. Really, really simple. Stays the same all of the way through. One variation that is kind of the Guns N' Roses version, but I'll show it to you here just because some people might find it a bit easier, is to use this G chord where you've got the 3rd and 4th fingers on the thinnest 2 strings. The reason it makes it easier is the transition to D. You can keep that 3rd finger down. Transition to the A minor is no different. The transition here to the G though is quite a lot more difficult. I think this version is a lot easier than that version to go, or for the C. So it really depends where you want to put your difficulty. If you want to do it at the begin, if you want to keep it simple at the beginning, then you might want to try this, what I call the rock G, going to the D. I just feel like, particularly if you're doing the Dylan version, I feel like this one sounds a little bit more authentic. Now there is a little embellishment quirk that I think is really strong that you hear in the Dylan one a lot. So that's going from the G to the D. Now on the A minor, we can add a little finger down on the 3rd fret of the thinner string. I'm going to take you through more on the strumming in just a sec. But G, D, Now here's what's called the same trick works for the C chord. So little finger down 3rd fret on the thinner string for the C chord and the A minor. In the A minor it turns it into an A minor 7 technically, it doesn't really matter though, just an embellishment, and then for the C as well. So G, D, A minor with the embellishment, G, D, C with the embellishment. Now rhythmically the feel here is 16th notes, so a kind of common thing will be this, so like down, down, up, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, 1, 2, 3, and 4, down, A minor, G, D, C. Now you can hear there I'm doing it, trying to keep it simple, but if you want to add some extra strums, that's totally fine, or leave some out. So what you want is this as a starting point, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then every now and again you might want to mix it up. Now some of the more observant of you might have noticed that my hand doesn't stop moving. That's the key thing here. Once you've set that pace, you want your hand moving just nice and consistently all the time. And if you do that, if you do these little extras or leave out some strums or put in some embellishments, it's going to totally work. You just got to make sure that you keep your hand moving evenly in time. So the very specific use that you hear on the record, the strumming pattern, down, down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, 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 down. So there's a succession of up, 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 down with the little finger down as the embellishment. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2, E and up, 3, E and up, 4, E and a 1. Also, I'm going to slow this right down so you can also hear something else that's going on. I'm exaggerating it now. Okay, so often in this kind of song where you've got a 16th note, the last beat, the last strum in the bar is an upstroke 16th note, it's likely that they're going to be open strings while you transition between chords, and that's totally okay. I remember when I was learning guitar, I was always wondering how on earth you made the chord change that fast that you could get from there down, up, down, down, up, down. And it just makes, if you try and do that, it makes it real jerky. Having those open strings doesn't matter. Listen. Exaggerating it now, but it adds to the song. It's not it adds to the song. It doesn't add to the song. The fact that you're relaxed and consistent with your movement and not stressing and are able to play in a kind of a loose way adds to the song. Okay, and it just you won't really notice it. It's on most of the big records that you hear in this kind of strumming pattern. You will hear that those strings are there if you listen out for them. Now that I've told you, you'll be a little bit more aware of it. But the important thing here is not to worry about it. One other thing to notice, if you listen to the original recording, in the left speaker, you'll hear that there's also an electric guitar part picking out notes individually. And this can be a real nice thing if you're jamming this song with someone else and they're going to do the chords. If you both try and do the chords together, it can sound a little kind of crunchy. Very hard to get the strumming like really well synced up. So picking out the notes from the chord can be a really great thing. I've got lessons on this specifically in grade 3 in my beginner's course, where you learn to strum and pick out the notes. that kind of thing. Or you might want to check out the Guns N' Roses version and check out Slash's picking that, because he does a beautiful version of this pick, picking out the notes individually while kind of half strumming. Last thing I want to mention is using chord embellishments. Now, a song like this, the chords are pretty simple and it stays the same all of the way through, so it is actually a great vehicle for working on your embellishments, but don't overdo it. Remember, embellishments are like spice. If you put too much in your food when you're cooking, it won't taste nice. So I'm going to show you some of these different embellishments you might want to explore, but don't go putting them in all over the place, and try and avoid the vocal a little bit. We'll talk about that in a sec. So the G chord, we don't generally do loads of embellishing there because there's vocal, but you've got these really nice embellishments here that you can use. It's basically the shape of an A minor chord. Okay, you might want to experiment maybe just with that, the first finger, or just the second finger, but don't go too crazy with that one. On the D chord, you've got the sus4 and the sus2, but again, just be careful with the D because it's usually where the singing is, so you don't want it to be too busy at that point and getting in the way of the vocals. With the A minor, we already mentioned this having the little finger down. Little finger can also go here on the 4th fret. You can also lift off the first finger. G, D, A minor. G, D, C. For the C, you know already you've got little finger down. You can also put little finger down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Makes it a C add 9 sound, which is real nice. Also, the little hammer on the C can work real good. So in context, Mama, take this badge off of me. G, can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. So I started going a little bit too crazy there and adding more embellishments than were actually needed, just so you could kind of see them in practice. But like I said, be careful with them. Try not to do them over where the vocal goes, because it really can make it into a bit of a mess. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun playing this one at parties. It's always a crowd favorite. Let me know what other Dylan songs you'd like me to do lessons on. You can leave it in the comments if you're over on YouTube, or on the website you can go to justinguitar.com/songs, where there's a request board where you can leave the songs that you'd like me to do lessons on, or upvote if somebody else has already requested that song. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.